I am 102 years old, and people keep asking me how I am still here while so many others are gone. They expect me to mention medicine, money, or luck. The truth is much quieter than that. There is one habit I never stopped doing, even when life was hard, even when my body grew tired. This habit did not make me rich, but it kept me alive. My name is Elias, and today I am 102 years old. I do not say that with pride, but with calm acceptance. I was born in a time when life moved slowly and nothing came easily. We did not talk about dreams or motivation back then. We talked about surviving the day, finishing our work, and waking up the next morning. Many people think living this long means I was lucky, but luck alone does not carry a man through more than a century of change, loss, and hardship. I have watched cities grow, traditions disappear, and people forget how to sit quietly with themselves. I have buried friends who were stronger than me and smarter than me. I have seen men rush through life as if they were racing time, only to run out of breath far too early. I never thought about reaching this age when I was young. I only focused on doing today properly. Every morning mattered. Every small choice mattered. I learned early that the body listens to routine more than words, and the mind listens to calm more than fear. I did not chase greatness or perfection. I chased balance. Looking back now, I understand something clearly. I did not live long because I wanted to. I lived long because I treated each day with patience and respect, even when the world around me felt uncertain. When I look back at my younger years, I realize how different life felt compared to today. There was no rushing for attention, no constant noise filling the mind from morning until night. We woke up because the sun told us to, not because an alarm demanded it. I believe this was where my longest habit began, without me realizing it. I learned to wake up at nearly the same time every day, not as a rule, but as a rhythm. Even when my work changed and my body grew older, that rhythm stayed with me. Many people think rest means staying still for as long as possible, but I learned that too much stillness slowly teaches the body how to give up. Each morning I would sit quietly, breathe deeply, and let my thoughts settle before my feet touched the ground. I never rushed my body into the day. I gave it time to remember who it was. Friends used to laugh at how simple my mornings were. But those same friends often complained about feeling tired, restless, or angry before noon. I did not judge them. I only observed. Over time, I noticed something important. The days when I respected my morning routine were the days my body felt lighter and my mind stayed clear. That habit did not protect me from hardship, but it prepared me to face it without panic. Consistency, not strength, became my quiet companion through the years. As the years passed, I began to notice something that many people around me ignored. Strong men disappeared faster than gentle ones. People who carried anger in their chest aged differently, as if time moved heavier for them. I was not a saint, and I was never free from worry. But I made a quiet decision early in life to not let my thoughts run wild without direction. Every morning after I woke up, I gave myself a few moments of silence. I did not pray in complicated words or ask life for miracles. I simply reminded myself that I was still breathing and that this alone deserved care. Many people believe long life comes from avoiding pain. But pain visits everyone without permission. What truly matters is how long you allow pain to stay inside you. I watched friends replay the same regrets for decades, carrying old arguments and unfinished anger like heavy bags they refused to put down. Their bodies followed their minds into exhaustion. I chose a different way. Not because I was wiser, but because I noticed the cost of holding on too tightly. When something could not be changed, I allowed it to end inside me. This habit did not erase sadness, but it stopped sadness from hardening into bitterness. Over time, my days became lighter, not easier, but lighter. I learned that the mind is not just a passenger in the body, it is a partner. If you treat it with patience, it gives that patience back to your bones, your breath, and your years. Another habit that stayed with me through the decades was movement, but not the kind people often imagine. I was never an athlete, and I never pushed my body to extremes. My movement was quiet and ordinary, almost invisible. I walked when I could walk. I stood when I could stand. I used my hands for simple work instead of letting them rest too long. Many people believe the body only needs care when it starts to hurt, but by then it is already asking for help. I learned that movement is a conversation with the body, not a command. Each small action told my muscles and joints that they were still needed. I did not punish my body for growing old, and I did not pretend it was still young. I listened to it carefully. On days when my legs felt heavy, I moved slower, not less. On days when my back felt stiff, I stretched gently and allowed time to do its work. I saw people my age sit down one day and never truly get back up, not because they were weak, but because they stopped reminding their body how to participate in life. Movement kept me connected to the world around me. It made me feel useful, even when my strength faded. I believe the body remembers kindness. When you treat it with steady care instead of sudden force, it stays with you longer. This habit did not make me young, but it helped me remain present, and presence is something age cannot take away. Food was never a source of excitement in my life, and I believe that helped me more than I understood at the time. I grew up eating what was available, not what was advertised or praised. Meals were simple, sometimes repetitive, but always respected. I learned early to stop eating before my body felt heavy. Hunger taught me patience, and fullness taught me restraint. Many people eat today to escape boredom, sadness, or stress, but I ate to continue my day with clarity. As I aged, this habit became even more important. I noticed how overeating made my body slow and my thoughts dull. Eating less allowed my breath to stay calm and my sleep to remain deep. I never followed rules or diets because rules change and diets come and go. I followed my body. I listened to how it responded after each meal, and I adjusted quietly without drama. I saw others treat food like a reward or a punishment, swinging between excess and regret. Their bodies carried that confusion for years. I chose consistency instead. Simple meals, eaten slowly with gratitude, became a form of respect for the life I was still living. Food did not give me strength by itself. Discipline did. Moderation kept my body working with me instead of against me. Over a lifetime, small meals taken with awareness mattered more than any special recipe or promise of quick health. This habit stayed with me long after my strength faded, and it continues to serve me even now. Sleep was something I never treated as a luxury, but as a responsibility. I did not stay awake to chase thoughts that could wait until morning. When night came, I allowed the day to end without argument. I noticed that people who carried their worries into bed often woke up already tired, as if they never truly rested. I chose a quieter approach. I went to sleep at a similar time whenever possible and let darkness signal my body to slow down. I did not fight rest or feel guilty for needing it. Over the years, this habit protected my mind more than my body. Good sleep cleared emotions before they hardened into tension. It allowed memories to settle instead of scatter. I did not need long hours of sleep, only honest ones. There were nights when pain or grief kept me awake, but even then I stayed gentle with myself. I did not judge my body for being restless. I listened to it and waited patiently. Many people underestimate how much poor sleep steals from the future. It shortens patience, weakens judgment, and quietly wears the body down. Rest, when taken seriously, repairs more than muscles. It restores balance. By respecting sleep, I respected tomorrow before it arrived. This habit did not guarantee perfect days, but it prepared me for imperfect ones. Through decades of change, rest remained one of the simplest and most faithful allies of my long life. One lesson that protected my years more than I expected was learning how to let people be who they are. I stopped trying to change others early in life, not because I agreed with everyone, but because I understood the cost of constant resistance. I watched men grow old arguing with the world, upset that things did not follow their expectations. Their faces hardened, their voices grew sharp, and their bodies followed that tension into decline. I chose a quieter path. When someone disappointed me, I allowed myself to feel it, but I did not build a home inside that feeling. I accepted that people act from their own fears, limits, and histories. Carrying resentment felt heavier with age, like dragging stones through the years. Forgiveness, for me, was not about excusing behavior, but about freeing my own body from unnecessary weight. Each time I released anger, my breath felt easier and my sleep deeper. I noticed how calm relationships created a softer rhythm in daily life. Laughter came more naturally. Silence felt safe instead of empty. This habit saved energy that could be spent on living instead of resisting. Many people believe strength comes from control, but I learned that endurance comes from acceptance. The body listens closely to emotional weather. When the heart stays at peace, the body follows with steadier steps. By choosing understanding over conflict, I protected not only my mind, but also the quiet years that followed. I also learned to stay connected to other people without depending on them to complete me. Loneliness is not always about being alone, but about feeling unseen. I made a habit of greeting neighbors, listening more than I spoke, and offering help when my body allowed it. These small interactions reminded me that I was still part of something larger than myself. I saw many people withdraw as they aged, closing their doors not only to others, but to life itself. Their days became quiet in a heavy way, not a peaceful one. I chose a different silence, one that welcomed conversation when it arrived. Human connection does not need constant excitement to be nourishing. A shared cup of tea, a slow conversation, or even a simple smile carried enough warmth to steady the heart. I noticed how connection softened my posture and eased my breathing. The body responds to belonging as much as it responds to food or rest. By staying open, I allowed joy to find me without effort. I did not chase company and I did not fear solitude. Balance lived between the two. Over time, these gentle bonds became a form of protection. They reminded me why each morning mattered. Living long is not only about keeping the body alive, but about keeping the spirit willing to wake up. Connection gave my days meaning without demanding strength I no longer had, and meaning is what keeps life moving forward. As I grew older, I realized that time itself changes its meaning. When you are young, time feels endless and urgent at the same moment. You rush through days believing you will return to them later. I learned slowly and without drama that later is never guaranteed. This understanding did not make me anxious. It made me careful. I stopped postponing small joys and simple kindness. If I wanted to rest, I rested. If I wanted to speak honestly, I spoke. Many people save life for a future version of themselves that may never arrive. I chose to live inside the present day fully and gently. This habit removed unnecessary pressure from my body. There was no constant race against imagined deadlines. My breath stayed calm because my expectations were realistic. I noticed how people who lived in constant urgency aged faster, their movements sharp and their thoughts restless. Slowing down was not surrender for me. It was wisdom earned through observation. By respecting the pace of each day, I allowed my body to recover from stress before it settled deep inside. Time became a companion instead of an enemy. I did not fight it or try to outrun it. I walked beside it. This quiet partnership gave my life length without demanding struggle. Living long is not about stretching time. It is about learning how to stand still inside it without fear. Now, at 102 years old, I understand that long life is not a reward and not a promise. It is a result of how gently and consistently you treat your days. I did not defeat time or discover a secret hidden from others. I simply paid attention. I woke up when my body asked me to. I moved when it could move. I rested when it needed rest. I released anger before it settled into my bones. I ate with respect, slept with care, and spoke with honesty when silence no longer served me. Many people search for answers in complicated places, but life responds best to simple respect. Each habit I carried was small on its own, almost forgettable, but together they formed a life that felt steady instead of rushed. I do not measure my years by numbers anymore. I measure them by mornings I greeted calmly and nights I ended without regret. If there is one thing I hope you understand from my story, it is this. Longevity is not about forcing the body to endure more than it can handle. It is about cooperating with it. When you stop fighting yourself, time softens. I do not know how many mornings I have left, but I wake each one without fear. I have lived slowly enough to arrive fully, and that more than years is what I consider a long life.